I'm Sean Kent. I'm a purple belt here at 10th Planet Austin, Texas. I've been doing Jiu Jitsu for about just shy of 6 years now. I am a musician. I play drums. I played drums professionally from the time I was 19 to about 26. My new art format that I've been pursuing recently is Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. So music's been a part of my life for a lot of my life.
Mm-hmm. Before Jiu Jitsu or?
Before Jiu Jitsu.
Oh, interesting.
So when I was probably 5 or 6, I took piano lessons for a long time. I played piano like from a young age. When I was 12, I think I played like baritone in the middle school band for a year or two. And then I switched over to percussion.
Okay.
Because I wanted to do percussion right away. Like when I started doing it, I was like, oh, I like the hitting stuff and like it making sound. So I liked that right away. And so I was able to, like, a spot opened up in the middle school band. At that point, I was able to hop over to percussion. And from that point, I started taking drum lessons, and that became my instrument of choice for most of my life at this point. I was 13, I think, when I started, and that's really my go-to instrument. So when I was a senior in high school, I kind of made the decision that I wanted to play music. And so I ended up going to college for about a year. During that time, I met a singer who was like, I really liked, we hit it off really well, like as far as our tastes at the time. And we like hit it off well. We were writing songs, and it ended up where the singer was like, hey, do you want to just move to California and like pursue this? And I said, sure. And so at 19 years old, I dropped out of college. And then I just was like, I'm going to go pursue music. And so I moved to LA and started trying to play music. It ended up being a lot harder than I anticipated. Because I was gonna, like, in my head, I was like, we're gonna go and we're gonna make music and we're gonna find a way to make money. And I didn't realize all the intangible stuff that, like, it's not just making music. You gotta meet people, you gotta get a gig, promote the gig, sell tickets, you gotta sell merchandise, you gotta promote yourself on social media. There's a lot that goes to being a professional musician. While I was out there, played in odd bands here and there. Barely made any money off of music at the time, so I ended up having to get day jobs and like figure real life stuff out.
Figure it out.
Yeah. And then at that time, that's when I kind of found Jiu Jitsu though. I had an artistic hole that was like a void that was missing because I wasn't playing as much music and like really pursuing it. And I then ended up finding Jiu Jitsu, and I just kind of like the competitive side of it, the expression side of it, really started to fill up that void that I was experiencing. And I just like right away I knew that's what I wanted to do. On my first day of Jiu Jitsu, I got twistered as the first submission I ever got hit with.
Very nice. Very nice.
Didn't know what it was because it's a weird submission, and my spazzy white belt brain was like, I can fight this, I'm tough, my neck is strong. And I ended up tapping. It sucked. I got beat up the rest of the class. And then afterwards I was like, I'm gonna sign up. Like this was great. Like, I don't know what it was, but this was great. And so I started signing the thing to sign up, and then I ended up getting woozy, and the coach was like, hey, there's bushes outside. So I ran outside and puked. And then I came back in, finished signing up, and was like, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And then I like started doing it more and more, and then just like stuck with it. And I don't know, I fell in love right away. It filled an artistic void that had been missing from my life. So I was like, you know what? If I'm living paycheck to paycheck, I'm just gonna move back to Austin, work a whatever job, and pursue Jiu Jitsu. Music, it's always gonna be a part of my life. Like I definitely don't ever plan on like dropping music from my life or forgetting about it. But it's it's much more of a hobby these days than like a professional pursuit for me. At this point, Jiu Jitsu is actually like the thing that I'm focused on mastering. I feel like I got good at drums, but I don't feel like I mastered drums. I feel like I got to like a purple belt level. When I was writing more songs, typically I would like to have like a melody and harmony and then actually put the percussion as kind of like the final touch.
Oh, really? So
even
you
though
put the
I was
rhythm at the end.
Yeah, even though I was the drummer,
yeah,
I liked to accentuate everybody else. Like whenever I was playing drums, I tried to be more selfless, I guess, as far as my parts went. I wanted to accentuate the song, make the song more interesting. One of my favorite bands is Tool, progressive metal band.
Metal band.
Yeah, like you say metal, like metalheads will be like, they're not a metal band, but it's like hard rock. But they have heavy elements, and they're one of my favorite bands because they're very cerebral about their music. And
What does that mean to be cerebral when it comes to music? That seems like a paradigm, like a.
So a lot of songs will have a very basic like driving beat where you can kind of just like thump. Like a lot of songs they call it 4/4 time signature, where it's basically just like do 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 do, and you can kind of just like get that rhythm going and you can kind of just keep it rolling. Whereas more cerebral songs will do what's called an odd time signature, where they'll play in something where it's, instead of like just a straightforward beat, it'll be like doom 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 doom.
I see.
Doom doom. And so instead of like a continuous beat, it's more like the way that, not everybody does it this way, but people will count. And so they'll go 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5, as opposed to 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. And so when I say cerebral, it's more like they'll use odd time signatures in a way where it tricks you into kind of having that feeling of like, oh, we're still moving forward, without it jarring you in a way where you're like, oh, this doesn't feel like, I can't dance to this. I think that kind of relates to my jiu-jitsu game pretty well, because I like weird moves that are kind of like surprising. So like as far as like the moves that I gravitate towards, they're typically more unusual. And I feel like a lot of the music that I like is also like that, where it's kind of
off rhythm, off beat, off balance a little bit, something like that, a little tilted, a little twisted kind of.
Yeah, but then I like to tie it all into like having a melody that is singable. So there's still an element of, oh, this is like, I can follow along with this, even though the rest of it's kind of off-putting. There is some element in there that I can follow along. And I feel like in my jiu-jitsu, like I do a lot of weird stuff, but then I do have like fundamentals that I do stick to as well, where like, you know, I like to get on top and stay on top if I can. If I'm like really trying to win a match, I'll stick to certain fundamentals, but then I have my like weird high ground like plays, or like my bolos.
The funky, kind of like jazzy a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. I like to have a like in music, I like to have a strong melody where there's like a theme going through that you can sing along, but I like all the chords in the background to be something where it's like, I'll sing this melody and in my head I'm hearing a specific chord pattern, but then when they play it, they'll be playing the chord pattern the way I think it is, but then they'll throw one chord where I'm like, oh, what was that? That was weird. Like, I like that. This is actually something that I heard Sting talk about, musician, The Police, the singer of The Police.
I got you.
Yeah. But he talks about if a song doesn't surprise him within the first, like, I think he says like within the first 10 seconds, he just turns it off.
Do you think there's a jiu-jitsu parallel to that as well? Like where the audience almost wants to be entertained by the awkwardness or the irregularness of a fight, of a jiu-jitsu match?
I will say for sure, like the best example recently is like Andrew Tackett versus Cade Brutolo.
Yes.
Like such a great match. But the reason why it's so good is because it was just movement and constant action and stuff. It wasn't just like a boring like, hey, let's play the position and let's just see if we can grind through the position.
Let's have a regular rhythm match.
Yeah.
You know?
They were like changing tempo all the time. They were like throwing stuff at each other and then throwing it back, and it was just like this crazy back and forth. And like that definitely is way more entertaining in jiu-jitsu.
It was one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I think for most people, you could say that, because it was like the action was high. Both people were constantly attacking each other, and it was, like I said, it was just like always you didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know who was going to win at the end of that. It was like, oh, it could go either way.
Yeah.
And it was because both people were constantly throwing haymaker moves at each other, and like I said, like doing something crazy where the crowd was just like, oh my God, like what is happening? And then suddenly the next thing would happen. Oh my God, like the surprise factor, like I think is a big piece of that. I think you can get to a very high level with the mindset of not losing, but I don't think you can be either the most exciting or the best in the world if you have a mindset of, I don't want to lose. Because like if you look at Gordon Ryan, he doesn't ever go, oh, I don't want to lose. It's more like he's like, how can I win? And rather than I don't want to lose, he's just like, I'm not going to lose. Even when he gets into a really bad position, he's like he's had his arm broken by Craig Jones. Like he got his knee blown up by Felipe Pena in their most recent match in that weird what is it, the ham sandwich position or the bear trap.
It's like the who behind the jiu-jitsu, right? Or even the music in this instance. It's like the person just says, hey, I'm not going to lose. I don't lose matches.
Yeah.
Right. Or it's someone who's like, hey, no, I'm interested in exploring today. I'm an explorer of jiu-jitsu or of music. Or
like for me, when I'm in the gym compared to when I'm competing, I roll very differently. Because in the gym, for me, it's a lot more of exploration. It's a lot more. It's like we kind of talked about this earlier. It's more like a jam session. Sure. Where I'm kind of going back and forth with you, where I'm like, I'm going to throw something your way, see how you react to it. And then, if we're jamming out, like I might play a melody or something like that. If I'm like playing piano, I might play a melody. And then if you're playing guitar, you might like hear that melody and go, okay, well, I'm going to play that melody back to you. Yeah. And then we can kind of play off each other. Or I play a melody and you go, oh, I like that melody. I'm going to play something similar, but a little bit different. Or I'm going to play a different melody, but a different melody that like kind of contradicts it, but in a way where, because you called and I responded with a contradiction, it makes it work. So there's a lot of ways to go about it, but it depends on who you're playing with. And I think that's the same thing in the gym, like it's who you're playing with. If you jam with somebody who's good, they're gonna guide you through it. Like if you're a guitarist and you're playing and you are brand new and you go and play with like a really good drummer or a really good pianist or a really good bass player, they're gonna guide you through it, and they're gonna be like, all right, they're gonna hold everything down. They're gonna make sure that you're still in the structure of a song, and they're gonna just kind of like help you along. And they'll be like, and as you're fumbling it through it, they'll probably like laugh with you, and they'll have a good time still. Everybody's bad at something that they've never done before.
Embrace the badness.
Yeah.
Be the badness.
And just fumble through it, and then once you fumble through it enough times, eventually you'll start getting better. I think that's one thing that I liked about jiu-jitsu. And that made me take jiu-jitsu further. I feel like even though I've done music way longer, I feel like I've gotten way better at jiu-jitsu than I ever got at music. I think a big piece of that is because of the competition element. Like, it's not like there's a definitive win-loss scenario in a drum competition, because it's more expressive and there's not like a winning condition. You don't win drums. Sure. You don't go in there and you're like, I drummed the most and I win drums. It's like, you go in there, you express yourself, and like it's more subjective. In jiu-jitsu, there is a definitive winning condition. For sure. And so I think that helped me, because I always was competitive. Like when I was younger, when I was really little, I was one of those sore loser kids that would like cry every time.
Oh, dude, same here, man.
Yeah. Every time our team lost, I'd be like, oh my God, it's because I wasn't good enough, and I'm crying because it's like I should have won.
Brother, same here.
And then coming into jiu-jitsu when I'm in my late 20s, like I was like, oh, this is for me. Like this is what I needed. And because you get that artistic expression that I love from art. Like I'm always drawn towards arts. Like that's kind of a big thing throughout my life. Music was the big one for me, but I've always been drawn towards different art styles.
Okay.
Martial arts for me, like adding that competitive element to it, like really drives me to want to improve at my craft or the art that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And when you start out in jiu-jitsu, it's hard to express yourself because you don't know what you can and can't do.
I agree. Yeah. 100%.
Like it's like if you're drawing, like I never was really good at drawing, but using drawing as an example, like you don't know what you can and can't do. And so if you start out at drawing, you're probably going to suck at drawing.
Sure. Yeah.
Like
100%.
I'm not very good at drawing.
I'm a terrible drawer.
But
yeah.
I'm sure if I practiced for 6 years straight the way I've done jiu-jitsu every single day for even like an hour every single day, I probably would get pretty good at drawing. I might not be the best in the world, but I'd probably get pretty good at drawing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have the drive because I wasn't competing. Whereas in martial arts, I'm like, I get beat up every day. I don't want to get beat up every day. I want to do the beating up, if anything. And it gives me that drive to like keep showing up and making sure I'm getting better.
What do you see as the difference between like white to blue to purple, up and through?
I have a kind of funny analogy that I like to use. I like to use like a buffet as an analogy. So like when you're a white belt, you're going into a buffet, all you can eat buffet, and you need to go in and just taste everything. Just sample everything. Just go in there, go down the row, just be like, I want one of these, I want one of these. And that's like every single move in jiu-jitsu. You're gonna go in there, you're not gonna know what's where, what things are, but you need to go and just like have a sample of everything. Okay. Once you're a blue belt, you have a couple items that you taste it, you're like, oh, that's good, I kind of like that. Mm-hmm. So like, it could be whatever, but it's like, I went in there, I like that, I'm gonna go ahead and like have more of that. I'm gonna put more of that on my plate. Okay. But you're still kind of like exploring.
Figuring out your taste.
Yeah, you're figuring out your taste.
Yeah.
Purple belt is where you know what you like, and you know where it's at. And so you're pretty good at being like, okay, I'm gonna go get another plate. And my next plate, I'm gonna get this, 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 and this. And how do I get there fastest? And what's the easiest route to that?
See, when you're strategizing. Yeah. Strategizing for that, like that that after lunch buffet.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And then brown belt, you know where everything is on the buffet, and you have your taste. But sometimes you're then exploring more like, okay, well, this thing was pretty good. I'm gonna go sample that, but like I have my main staples. I'm gonna go in there and I want a little bit extra of that over there as well. So I'm gonna go through my routes, but I'm also gonna expand my tastes on that. See. And then black belt is you're a master of the buffet. You know every single item on that buffet. You know where it's at. You know how to get there the fastest. You're gonna say, I want these 3 things on this plate, and then you're gonna go eat it, and then you're gonna be like, all right, well this time I'm gonna go this route, and I'm gonna take these 6 things from the plates, and then you're like, okay, I want the dessert over there, and you know where everything is, and you can tell people where everything is at that point. You don't need somebody to be like, hey, like check this. Have you tried this on the buffet? You're like, yeah, I know it's actually right there on the buffet. Yeah,
did you try the rotisserie chicken on side 3E?
Yeah,
don't go over to the like side 6E. You have to go to 3A1, right? Yeah. That's the best one. That's where the char is.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's kind of that's my like goofy analogy for it. You got to learn how to play your instrument. Like you can make music, like. You can do combat without knowing how to fight, but it's gonna look a lot better once you learn how to fight. Just like music, you can make music without knowing how to play an instrument, but it's gonna sound a lot better once you learn how to play your instrument.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
And so like the early stages is kind of just learning your instrument, and for your instrument would be like your body and learning how to move your body. I think being a touring rock star is the equivalent of being like an IBJJF black belt world champion.
Okay, yeah, I can see the equivalency there.
You can you get paid more as a touring rock star than you do as an IBJJF black belt world champion. But as far as skill level goes, and the difficulty of making that happen is kind of like that. And so not everybody's going to be able to get there. Not everybody's going to be a IBJJF world champion or a rock star. But if you work really hard, I think you can make it happen. I think that for me, like I had this dream of grandeur of like rock star lifestyle, like that kind of stuff. And then as I got older and I decided, or I figured out that like I really like this martial arts thing. Like, I really love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I want to make sure to like be able to spread it to people. That's kind of like my goal at the end of the day. Is like I felt like it helped me so much from where I was. Like at the time, like I said, I was like 120 pounds. I was recently single. I had nothing going on for me in life. Like I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I didn't have like any discipline in my life. And martial arts, specifically Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, helped me so much with like getting my life together, where now I feel like I'm in a good place, and I'm happy with the way things are going, and I want to be able to spread that to people.
Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the Everything Roll. If you like what you saw here today, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you.